The week is over and the moment of celebration has arrived. It's Friday night and the plans for the evening are put in the works for a good time. Come 11 o'clock, young girls in heels will be stumbling into the road and the sound of sirens will fly by to the nearest raging party. Such is the society's definition of fun in the eyes of the typical college student. But why? What is it about this substance that has the youth of this generation so hooked? Reasoning by these participants ranks anywhere from the thrill of breaking the rules to the concept that it loosens you up for a little bit of fun. But taking a step back, it's hard to believe that the buzz of alcohol in one system and the thrill of doing something illegal is worth the many drawbacks that come from such activities. In the short-term effects alone, it can lead to poor academic performance, lack of physical safety, and the uncomfortable symptoms of the human body's rejection of the substance. And yet, efforts on the part of universities to educate students on the consequences of alcohol consumption remain in vain, which leaves one questioning, why do something over and over and over again with little to no result of success? Without involving students in such a way that reveals the personal pertinence of this issue in their lives, no effective solution will be found. First of all, it's important to establish the severity of alcohol abuse in college students. In a USA Today article written by Donna Lineward, the startling truth is that nearly half of America's 5.4 million full-time college students abuse drugs or drink alcohol in binges at least once a month. In fact, this article records that students have a drastically higher rates of alcohol addiction than the general public. Alcohol, the favored substance above all others, has led to many serious consequences, both short-term and long-term. Negative effects such as driving under the influence, physical or sexual assault, unintentional injuries, physical and verbal conflicts with others, and deteriorating academic performances represent the potentially immediate problems of alcohol use, as expressed in college counseling case studies from the Journal of College Counseling. But continuing on in such behaviors generates serious concern for long-term health and well-being. Alcohol in large portions over a long period of time can affect the brain, the heart, the liver, the pancreas, and the immune system, increasing risks of cancer and other diseases. But the recklessness of young adults' choices suggests two main concerns that need addressing for any improvement to happen. The first is that few students think about the effects of their choices on their future health. And the second is that they find themselves feeling dangerously superior to potential safety hazards. Until something bad happens, they find themselves overconfident in the belief that statistics about deaths, assaults, and injuries don't apply to them. Secondly, it seems that college universities have grown complacent in their attempts to fight alcohol abuse on their campuses. The most common form of prevention, generic informational talks on alcohol abstinence and effects, have been used to the point of ineffectiveness. Out of academic obligation, students will go to hear a professor or a speaker talk on alcohol awareness, and the important information will go in one ear and out the other. The Journal of American College Health, in an article called Development of a Student Engagement Approach to Alcohol Prevention, discusses reasons as to why this is the case. A huge problem with throwing statistical numbers and informative content at a student body is the reality that these numbers are not developed specifically off of them. Though they may hold validity on a grander scale, who would listen to random assortment of numbers that don't measure their own specific actions? Second, a huge majority, about 80% of students report that they drink on a regular basis. Whether they started as teenagers or waited until the college experience, students feel the pressures of drinking through the expectations of society and the pressures of an intensely competitive community. And as Catherine Zepf of the New York Times states in her article, Alcohol Abuse on College Campuses, initial introduction and experiments with alcohol has started as low as 11 or 12 years of age. This means that for over 10 years, students have heard the same information about consequences to alcohol and consumption over and over again. And the reality is simply this, that they have made the decision to participate anyway, regardless of the head knowledge that they have obtained. And because of that, university administrators have simply pushed the issue out of their sight. Perhaps it's because they simply don't know what else to do to counter drug or alcohol abuse. But according to the Journal of American College Health, the reality of it is research on college drinking prevention and intervention is not nearly as developed as the documentation of drinking prevalence and associated problems. This brings me to my final point. Where do we go from here? Are there no other options to fight alcohol abuse on college campuses? History has proven that stiffening federal law against an issue to abolish it simply makes things worse. What it comes down to is getting students to care about the issue. In an article from the Journal of American College Health, 3 professors, Dr. Butner, Dr. Andrews, and Dr. Glassman from The Ohio State University attempted a prevention program that engaged students in the approach to dealing with alcohol abuse. They called this program the Pragmatics Project. It was funded by the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, and the project combined the academic world with that of the community to start fighting high-risk drinking issues on the campus through the involvement of undergraduate students. A total of 89 students participated, and almost all of them drank alcohol on at least a weekly basis. This, after all, was the key element of the project's construction. The students involved in the efforts of prevention were the ones that had been involved in the target behaviors from the beginning. Through research, deciding on a narrowed problem, exploring possible solutions, and moving forward with a course of action, students took responsibility for finding a solution to the problem and engaging their friends through the process. They took surveys of smaller, more personal spaces on campus like residence halls and handed out kits to over 3,000 students on how to have fun without endangering themselves or anyone else. What resulted was a personal involvement of the students. An adult was no longer standing up in front of them and talking to them about the hazards of alcohol, but instead the fellow students picked up the responsibility. Friends, no less, were talking to other friends about the potential problems of what their actions could bring. For years, administrations have been trying to solve the issue on alcohol abuse with the same type of solutions to no avail. Presently, the situation is spiraling out of hand, as accordingly, college counseling case studies says nearly 1,400 college students die every year because of alcohol-related events. If improvement in this concerning topic is desired, the students have got to start caring. They need to become more involved in efforts to diminish the college life of alcohol use and abuse. Only then will the efforts of the university administrators make any difference on the student lifestyles and